marvelous encounter with God prior to coming. And I thought, oh, if I had the chance, I'd really like to get up to that Hebridy place that I had that dream about, that change. Ooh, if I had the chance, and you know what, I had the chance. And I've made amazing friends. I love my friends up there, and I love this isle. I think this isle is a golden gem in the world, and I think I'm kind of ahead of the curve, because I know about it. Apparently 104 Africans know about it. But we're coming here because we see something of tremendous value. I mean, why would I spend 8 hours on a very cramped flight eating horrific food? Except if I didn't know that there was something on the other end that I wanted to take a look at. So I am here on holiday, and I learned some interesting things I want to share with you as the Lizzie Lewis on Isle of Lewis reporter / will tell your future glory story. Okay. Did you know that according to your own Scottish website, the official gateway to Scotland is called, that it says Canada and Scotland, our relationship goes from strength to strength. I like that one. Our first Prime Minister in Canada was from Glasgow. Yeah. One of the oldest places in Canada was founded in 1621. It's called Nova Scotia, which means New Scotland. So Canada was meant to be the New Scotland. That province is bigger than Britain and France combined. Yeah, but you didn't know that, eh? A few other things I learned is that there's revival. Does everybody know what a revival is? It's kind of like when the heat turns up and suddenly people are transformed and they experience God in ways they don't even know necessarily what to do with. Sometimes they'll walk down the street and God will touch them and they'll just drop to their knees and start praying and saying, God changed my heart. And they go home to their family and the alcoholic is suddenly a sweetheart and the abuser is suddenly kind. Yeah, just a few nuggets we have to look forward to. Anyhow, one of the things I learned about revival is we have the fire of the Isle of Lewis revival happening now. In all kinds of places across Canada. And so it was in one of these meetings as I was politely sitting and listening to a young revivalist who will probably be coming here soon because he's itching to come. So just welcome to Cale before he gets here this year or next. And he was talking about the passion God had for this isle and what he learned. And one of the things he told me about is an older man who was interviewed, who after revival came and went. This older man spoke to a reporter and he just shook his shoulders and said, if God ever visits you like that again, if revival ever comes, never let it go. Never let it go. And God did something to me that changed my life as this was happening. And I'm not going to talk about it right now because there's just so many other exciting things going on. I believe I'm going to come back, and I believe I'm going to meet more and more people and hear your stories. My passion is to know who you are and to hear what makes this island special, so I'm going to say the same. But what I learned about your peat, which, you know, the stuff in the ground, it can burn indefinitely until the source is completely gone. It has the ability to burn indefinitely. Sounds a bit like the eye. It burns underground. It can survive a winter. And it dries under pressure, so it turns into oil under pressure or in the sun. And another thing interesting, it preserves flesh. Interesting. Why do I mention this? Well, I'm a nerd, so that's really interesting to me, but it's more than that. I thought, how is it that you could have a people, a very small isle on the outer coast of the Hebrides, burn with a passion and see it funnel its way across the Atlantic Ocean and pop up over on the Atlantic coast and then work its way over to the west coast where I am and pop up inside of me. Well, I found out that's how they discovered peat. Apparently a fire started over here and then all of a sudden they'd see a fire over there and they couldn't figure out the connection. It was the heat. So your very land, the very thing that makes you unique is kind of like a symbol of the fire that God's put in you. The other thing I've just noticed on my travel is the faithfulness. People are very consistent. I mean, peat is peat. The more is the more. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And the people are like that. The hearts are faithful. So when people here hold to something, they really hold to something. Whether it's Henley's view of tweed, or if it's, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be the color purple. But there's something in the passion of the heart. So that was the other thing. When they asked me to speak, the only word that kept coming up is friend, friend, friend. I believe that I'm a friend of people here, and they're my friends. I believe I'm a friend of the aisle, and I also believe I'm a friend of God. And one of the things about friends is it's a covenant word. It means to cut. So there's always bloodshed when there's a covenant made, which I found really interesting. Friendship is a covenant word. Nod your heads if you're following me, because in Canada we talk to each other. Yeah? Okay. So when God says he's doing something here, and he sends his friends from one place and his friends from another place, and he puts them all together, that tells me he's working on his covenant for the land. And I don't know if you've heard of this book called Sounds from Heaven. Anybody? I found out about it after I got here, so it was kind of like reading my story